Good afternoon and welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Ann Vasulis.
And I'm Jessica Straight.
Next week in Lexington, a trial begins for a defendant accused in a campground attack 4 years ago. Joining us now is lead courts reporter Courtney Ridenhour.
Jordan Milford and a companion were camping in Arnold's Valley when someone opened fire on them in their tent. Milford was shot in the legs and hand. His companion was not hurt. Next week, Milford is expected to testify in the trial of a man accused in the attack. 29-year-old Kevin Howard of Tawano goes on trial for attempted murder. He faces several other gun-related charges and larceny. Howard became a suspect in the shooting after police found a van in a parking lot near Arnold's Valley. They traced the van to its owner, a former girlfriend of Howard's. Police said fingerprints taken from the van were consistent with Howard's. Police issued a warrant for Howard's arrest in October 2007. Investigators could not find him in Virginia and asked the U.S. Marshals for help. It took nearly 2 years, but a fugitive task force finally found him mowing a lawn in Texas. Jury selection is set to begin Monday in Rockbridge County Circuit Court. The Rockbridge Report will have daily updates on our website along with video coverage from the courtroom.
Thanks, Courtney. That will be an interesting story to follow throughout the next week. The Rockbridge Report Area Relief Association Food Pantry may be facing serious financial problems in the future. Billy Crosby says higher food prices and cuts in food assistance by the U.S. Department of Agriculture are the problem.
The Rockbridge Area Relief Association is spending money from its reserves because of the Agriculture Department providing less food and an increase in food prices. Rah-Rah President Chip Hunsinger says it needs to use that money to service all of the families in need.
We have overspent our funds. We have spent, in the last 7 months, we've spent 40,000 more than we've taken in income. So we've been using up some of our corpus or our assets to carry us through this period.
Rah-Rah's food pantry serves more than 500 families each month. The boxes the food pantry gives to its patrons include canned goods, soups, cereals, pastas, eggs, and produce. Rah-Rah depends on volunteer work and donations from the community to help service Rockbridge County. Rah-Rah recently moved from its old location on North Main Street to the former Lexington Rescue Squad building on Spotswood Drive. The entire cost of the move was paid for by donations.
We have more space, we can serve them much more efficiently, we can serve larger numbers of people.
The new location won't be the only big change. There will now be a different way for people to pick up their food.
Not only is it self-serve, but they also have some choice now in what they choose. It used to be we just gave them a box that we packed a standard menu of items into. Now we tell them they can have, let's say, 6 cans of vegetable, but if they can choose whether they want green beans, corn, or something else, they can take 6 beans if they don't like corn.
Rah-Rah will soon launch a new fundraiser to try to raise some money to help them through this time. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Billy Crosby.
Rah-Rah is urging members of the community to help out so they can keep servicing all of the families in need.
2 area schools were notified this month that some of their students are not meeting federal education standards. A group of students at Perry McClure Middle School have failed to make adequate yearly progress in math and English testing for the past 2 years. Students at Natural Bridge Elementary failed to make progress in English for the 3rd year in a row. The Virginia Standards of Learning test results revealed the failures of the 2 schools. The scores were released to the public earlier this month. The results for both schools are below the standards of the federal No Child Left Behind law. Rockbridge County Superintendent John Reynolds says a leadership team has been formed to determine how to more effectively prepare students for the test. Buena Vista Superintendent Mary Holm says school training programs have been created to better student instruction. For more details on school performance, go to the Rockbridge Report website at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. Stay tuned to learn more about how the Rockbridge County Board of Supervisors plans to move ahead with a new Green majority after next month's elections.
A new majority will sit on the Rockbridge County Board of Supervisors this January. They'll represent the South River, Buffalo, and Natural Bridge districts. According to 2 retiring board members, the new representatives can anticipate spending their first couple years getting up to speed on the current issues.
A tremendous amount of reading, asking questions, going back and poring through the minutes of previous meetings, and just trying to catch up on the history of where the various issues were that we were going to have to continue to look at. It took about 2 years, I'd say, to really get solid.
There is a lot of learning, a lot of study. The issues like solid waste, which is a really controversial and very crucial issue for the operation of a government, is just awful hard to follow, to understand, to learn, and to be able to make a judgment about what's the best way to go.
The current members say the new majority could reverse decisions made in the past year. One decision that might be re-examined includes the county's plan to build a new transfer station to handle solid waste. But they don't think that's a likely possibility, and they anticipate a smooth transition.
President Obama spent day 3 of his campaign-style tour in Virginia yesterday. He greeted crowds in a suburban Richmond firehouse and at Hampton's Fort Monroe. His visits were used to push his Jobs Act in the face of Republican opposition. Obama stressed that the Jobs Act will help rehire citizens who are being laid off by local governments. Many of the jobless are war veterans who can't find work. Obama's jobs bill was stalled by Senate Republicans last week. Obama also spent time with Hampton's Mayor Molly Ward. She wants Obama to make Fort Monroe become a national monument. She described Obama as gracious for thinking of the fort, even though his aim was to promote jobs for military veterans.
Former Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi has been killed. According to interim Libyan Prime Minister Mahmoud Jabril, questions still surround the circumstances of his killing, which reportedly happened in or near Gaddafi's hometown of Sirte after revolutionary fighters toppled the city's defenses. Sirte was the last stronghold of Gaddafi's regime. A video that aired on Al Jazeera Arabic network appears to show Gaddafi lifeless, with a wound to his head. 69-year-old Gaddafi was in power for 42 years before being ousted in an uprising earlier this year. Up next on the Rockbridge Report, the Maury Express serves a growing number of riders, and later, this weekend's improving forecast.
Ridership on the Maury Express is up since its founding in March. Reporter Deandra Spichak has the story.
The Maury Express provided 1,349 rides in September, the most rides since its start in March. That averages out to 45 riders per day, and ridership is still growing.
We get it all. We get it from the intellectuals down to the low income, so there's no rhyme or reason who rides this bus.
Since March, the Maury Express has provided more than 6,300 rides to Lexington, Buena Vista, and Rockbridge County residents.
The most that we've ever had on one bus in a route, now you got to realize there's four drivers every day. One driver had 53 in a day.
The Maury Express is run by Radar, a nonprofit corporation responsible for providing rides in the greater Roanoke Valley. For 50 cents, a person can take a one-way trip to different locations around Lexington or Buena Vista. Handy for those without personal transportation, like Javier Fernandez.
I don't have a car and it's just difficult, but it's just a good bus.
Others ride the bus regularly.
We have a lot of repeat riders. I've got to know a lot of them. You know where they get off at, and so you don't have to ask them where to stop at. You already know. And we have some real characters that ride the bus.
Characters like Roderick Lockhart.
Yeah, I've been a regular rider since they first started. They're interested. Maybe like 2 months, going on 3 months. Walk maybe 2 miles to work, but on the way back, on the Maury Express, it really come in handy.
The Maury Express operates 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. The most popular stop?
Walmart, by far.
Dudley says the Maury Express has grown faster than its counterparts in Martinsville and Clifton Forge, and that taking the bus is catching on. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Deandra Spichak.
VMI and Washington and Lee students can ride the bus for free when they present a valid school ID.
Well, an upgrade to our local wastewater treatment plant is now complete. The Maury Service Authority has complied with state mandate as part of an effort to clean up the Chesapeake Bay watershed. The Virginia Department of Environmental Quality has placed a limit on the amount of nitrogen and phosphorus that water treatment plants can release into the watershed. The project cost $15 million and was finished last month, but MSA Board Chairman Richard Trendle dedicated the plant yesterday. Trendle says the upgrade will make the watershed cleaner for all of its users. Up ahead on the Rockbridge Report, a new brewery is moving into Rockbridge County. Find out what its plans entail and what that means for other local breweries. And also coming up this weekend's local football schedule. Devil's Backbone, a microbrewery based in Nelson County, is setting up shop locally on North Lee Highway. Paige Gantz reports from the construction site.
Construction began in April at the Lexington outpost and brewing begins December 1st. They just received brewing equipment from Germany and installation is running ahead of schedule. Hayes Humphreys, Chief Operating Officer at the new outpost, said the facility will produce 10,000 barrels of beer next year, and that number could reach 30,000 to 50,000 within 5 years.
I wish Lexington could drink that much beer. If Washington Lee students want to step up, absolutely, we won't go any further with Lexington. But no, we intend to be a primarily Virginia brewery.
Their India Pale Ale is already on tap at the Palms restaurant. Brewery CEO Steve Crandall said attention to detail and a commitment to time-honored brewing methods make their beer exceptional.
We haven't got into the cherry beers and those kind of things too much, sticking more to the traditional styles, which are, by the way, very difficult to make because there's not a lot of room for error there.
Devil's Backbone is the second brewery in the area. Blue Lab opened in Lexington last November. Co-owner Tom Lovell said they welcome their fellow brewers.
If you can have 3 banks on the corner of Nelson and Washington, I'm sure you can have 2 breweries in Lexington or Rockbridge County.
In addition to providing award-winning beer, this facility could also employ up to 50 people as it expands over the next 5 years. From Rockbridge County, I'm Paige Gantz with the Rockbridge Report.
The new brewery opens in January for tours and tastings.
Looks like the rain is clearing up in time for a beautiful weekend. Partly cloudy skies will bring warmer weather tomorrow, but a 20% chance of rain. The high will be 59 and the low will be 41. Saturday will be sunny with a high of 58 and an evening low of 40. On Sunday, the temperature will reach a high of 61. The low is expected to drop to 44. Monday will be partly cloudy with a high of 62 and an evening low of 43. On Tuesday, sunny skies will bring a high of 67 and a low of 46. Well, that's all we have for you today. Check us out online at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.